Hello, I am Danielle Beckman, and welcome to Convos, presented by Brooklyn Quarter and the League of Filmmakers. For this episode, we have with us Britt Rentschler. She is an award-winning actor, filmmaker, and creative coach whose work spans independent film, television, major motion pictures, and original content creation. She is best known for her roles in the Emmy-nominated Uncle Frank, Instant Family, and the South by Southwest Audience Award-winning film Pretty Problems, which I'm excited to talk about today. Britt co-wrote, produced, and starred in Pretty Problems, which you can watch now on Amazon Prime, Hulu as well.
Yes.
And Hulu. So Britt's performances in filmmaking have earned critical praise from places like Forbes, Variety, Deadline. I mean, she is everywhere. I am so thrilled to have her with us today at the Coin Op Game Room in San Diego Comic-Con. Thank you for being with us, Britt.
I'm so excited. Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. Hello to the fans. Yeah. Britt is here. No, this is really, really exciting, especially because we are friends in real life.
Yes.
And when your friends are so talented, doing so many creative things, you get to bring them on a talk show to Comic-Con, which is really cool. Okay, so is this your first con?
Very first.
All right. And
Yes.
what's it like so far?
So far, I've only seen the parking deck.
Okay. Okay, so
This is my very first stop. You're my first stop.
Yes, and talk about what you have noticed, though, that it's like quiet.
It's very quiet. Yeah, I was surprised, but I was told they're all inside. Everyone's inside. Like 150,000 people are next door.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes. No, it's actually kind of crazy, especially these first few days. I feel like as the con progresses, you get to see more. Now, but you are not a stranger to film festivals.
No, not at all.
Which you have been to many. So if a con is similar to a film festival, do you have any like hacks or tips or tricks for having a smooth film festival experience?
Well, smooth. Isn't that a funny word? I think it's a trip and a journey.
Okay.
So maybe the way to have it feel smooth is just to surrender and go with the flow, because you can make a lot of plans, but you never know what's going to happen. And I think that is the magic of a festival or a con, is that you show up and you map it out, but then you see something incredible you've never seen before, or, a new artist, or all of a sudden you're in a panel because you saw a friend you haven't seen in 10 years, since another film festival or whatever it is. And you get pulled in that direction, and then they're going out for drinks, and then you're there, and then you meet the showrunner of your favorite television show.
Oh my God.
Right? And you're like, I didn't plan that.
Yes.
I'm glad, because
That's cool.
I think cons often have more in store for you than what you plan, which is the best part.
That's so good. So it's like be in a constant state of preparation, but then let it all go if it needs to.
Yes. I think snacks are important.
Yes.
That would be the greatest thing to keep me on track and flow state.
Yes.
Is I always have a snack in my bag. You do not want to be caught without a snack.
No.
I don't think any of us are at our best when we're hangry.
No, absolutely. And question, so, I mean, you've been on many, many sets. Would you also say that's the same for being on set? And how do you get through those long days on set?
I think we are all kindergartners. We were forced to socialize, but truly everyone wants a juice box and some animal crackers. It's just it. You see a kid when they get Cheez-Its and they're like, it goes from into
Yes.
And I think we need that. And what I love about every set, even if it is the most shoestring budget indie, everybody knows you need treats, right? Even if it's from Costco, we're all doing our best, but it's like have multiple granola bars. We've got fresh fruit, gum, things you have to stay focused, but you also need these little pops of energy. And I truly feel it's just nurturing, right? If you're packing for yourself, you're nurturing yourself. If you're packing for a set, the set is nurturing you, and everyone feels like, okay, we're on this mission. We're on this journey. We've got vital supplies.
Yes.
We can keep going.
Food is a love language in and of itself, right? Like when somebody cooks for you, they are nourishing and nurturing you.
Yes.
And that feels the same. It's like a self-love moment.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love it. No, it's actually really true. And I learned a lot of that the hard way, I think.
Yeah.
Especially at these cons, because you go in and then there's like a pretzel and a banana. And which are you going to choose? And that's it. And they're both $20.
Yep.
And yeah. Okay. Well, so food aside, because I could probably keep talking about.
We could definitely do that.
We could just talk about food for a long time. But I would actually love to talk about like all of the different hats that you wear and how you came to this sort of like multi-slasher life.
Ooh,
if you will.
slasher.
Yes,
I like
multi-slash.
it. Horror is a genre I haven't done yet. But,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I feel like I didn't really expect this theme to come up so much, but I feel like when we're kids, we don't define our creativity. You know, one minute you are the one who's saying, okay, no, you go stand over there. And then you wear this cape. And then I'm going to stand here and I'm going to say on the count of 3, and you're the costumer and the director and the AD, and you're also the actor. And I think for me, the closer I got to my own creativity and not doing it for some sort of industry standard, thinking, you know, I came from theater to film, I moved to LA, and it was like, these are the rules, obey the rules. You get these headshots, you do these things. And all of a sudden I felt extremely stifled, because I also feel like it's a necessity in a theater world. You, especially if you go to theater school, you learn how to hang lights, you stage manage, you do costumes, you do all of those things. And on film sets, people wear multiple hats as well, but that was more of my, like my breeding ground, so to speak. And so I felt like all of a sudden there were a lot of rules. I had a lot more jobs to learn, and I felt really small. And then once I started to remember that I'm just a creative being, and that the desire to create became bigger than my fear of what I did or didn't know, then I was doing my own short films, and I was directing them or starring in them and costuming them and editing them and, you know, getting lunch orders for everybody, producing them. But it wasn't a burden, it was a joy. Not to say that it is not an absolute joy when people are helping you. You know, as you move on, you really do hope that you can pay everyone a living wage and have those jobs be fulfilled. But it really is in the spirit of play.
And it's also, I mean, speaking of play, talking about theater and plays, like the whole idea of coming up in the theater is when you are in a cast, you know, sometimes you're playing multiple roles in one night. Or, you know, you have the stage manager who does one thing, and then once the show opens, they move to another thing. And everyone kind of knows how to pitch in, or even when, depending on the budget, when you're an actor, sometimes you're also moving props and scenery. So you are doing those things, and it feels a little bit like everyone pitching in. So that's so interesting coming from that background. And then I also love what you said about, you know, it's like we put ourselves in these boxes, and it's like, okay, well, no, I'm just directing and I'm staying in my lane. It's like, did you know the director could also go to craft services and get something for someone? Did you know the director could also help, like, in a certain way? Of course, you know, there are union roles. You can't touch a camera. Right. I mean, like, depending. But no, I really, really love that mentality. And I'm sure, I've never been on set with you, but I can't wait to be eventually. But it's going to happen. But I'm sure that kind of like spills out. Everywhere. And so when it comes to, for example, Pretty Problems, and feel free to, you know, bring up any other projects, but you were producing and the star. And writer or creator.
I worked on Story with Michael.
Michael Tennant is
wonderful screenwriter, and also my co-star. And so with that, how did you, specifically on set, kind of like split your brain? Or did you say, you know what, on these days, I had my amazing producer do everything? The reason I laughed is because that is such an ideal version, I think. I think in the moment, it's so necessary to move forward that those thoughts are less contemplated and more spontaneous. Right? Like, I need to order lunch as the producer, so I will do that.
As the lead actor, you were also doing things like ordering lunch. Wow.
We had to do catering. I mean, we were really producing that movie. It was just us and our wonderful producer, Katya, but she was also doing DIT. Right?
What is DIT for those who don't know?
Oh, so she was running all of the information that we get at the end of the day from all of the cards.
Yes.
She has to run the digital information and get it into the computer and get it to the editor and sort it out into all the files. And that job is often going overnight. They usually come in at the end of the day, work overnight so everybody can get back.
They're managing all the media for the film.
Yes.
And that's a lot. So to hear that she was also doing
Katya Alexander, a true queen.
Big shout out, Katya.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. You know, and it's just like you're making do. And then Kestra and Pantera, our wonderful director, at a certain point, we had there was a situation with the rooms, and she was like, I'm getting a pallet and I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm a Burning Man person. I'm so here for it. I'm going to be fine. And she, you know, created a little cubby space for herself and was, you know, it's what she wanted and volunteered for, but it's those kinds of things where everybody is in it. And of course you need boundaries, and there are professional ways to take care of people that are very important, but the sense of community is such at the heart of indie filmmaking. And I think what I really wish for is this balance between the top budget movies that I see where they have so much money that it's being burned and people don't even know where it's going. And it actually doesn't serve the community because there's not a cohesiveness to it, because it's just kind of like floating off and being siloed into all these places. And everyone's like, I don't even, it's so much money, I can't even contemplate
Right, it's like, oh, well, we can just blow up another car.
Sure,
and it's like, man, that could have been my whole short film.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And there's like a different sense of community when you know that your resources are thoughtfully allocated in a specific way. And I also think just being a part of the production team, you know more about that.
Yes.
And as an actor, you know when you're on an indie set versus when you're on one of those other sets too, right? Like you can feel it.
For sure.
So I think I wish for a happy medium. I don't know that I could do what I did again. I would, actually. I would. If I had to, I would, because that's how much I love it. But I do think that at the end of the day, there were many times I had to lock myself in the room and just like have a good cry and go right to bed.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
And wake up and start all over.
When you say,
right?
you know, I'm like, I do know.
You do know. You do know. And not to say that won't happen anyway.
Of course.
But it is a little bit more challenging when everything is on your shoulders. But man, when you get to the other side.
That's what I was going to say. The success of the film.
It's just so incredible to be able to all point to the same thing on screen and say, we did that.
Yes.
You know, that was a result of many people's sacrifices.
Of course.
And many people's creativity. And there's something that I say a lot. It's not what you do, it's the energy with which you do it, right? So it's the idea of like, wear many hats if you love wearing many hats. But if you're wearing many hats because you fear that's the only way to get ahead, I think when fear is driving the ship, that's when you get a lot of like left turns. There's nothing wrong with left turns, but if you want it to go right, you're kind of like going in a loop.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. But so that's the question I always ask myself, no matter what choice I'm making. Is this a choice that is built out of creativity and inspiration, or is this a choice that is built out of fear? And I know which ones go better for me.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh. Everything you're saying, the producer, director, actor in me is like, I want to work with her. Like, no, but it's...
Now we have to do theater together too.
I know. Oh my gosh, please. But like, it's just, it's so interesting. And, you know, we have a lot of people tune in from our community, but also the League of Filmmakers, and they're, you know, a newer collective with Black Magic Design. And there are people from all parts of the industry, starting out, you know, veterans. And so I think talking about this stuff is important because it's kind of like, hey, did you hear, you know, these kinds of vibes and communities can be fostered on set.
Yes.
But there's something to be said, like you said, if you love to wear many hats, wear them. If you can't do it, stay in your lane and be a part of the team. And Natasha Lyonne and Amy Poehler recently on Amy Poehler's podcast were talking about how it's so good, right?
Brilliant.
It's so good.
Brilliant.
It's so cute. But they're talking about how directing is a team sport.
Yes.
And it's so true because so often we look at this director as an auteur, as someone who is up there and alone, and what they say
and
goes.
Some of them would like you to see them that way.
Exactly. And that's what's so difficult. But I'm so glad that we have people like Amy and Natasha talking about these things a little more publicly to understand that it is a team sport. And I keep thinking of like Tim Burton, for example. He goes on set and he does not pretend to know how to make all the production design work or make the things in his head come alive. He trusted his team and all those iconic films. And that's the team sport. And it's just really brilliant.
And you give everyone a chance to shine, right?
Like, because what's the point?
That's why they're there.
Yeah.
They're there because they were also that little kid dressing up or doing the thing. And that's why they chose their life to be this.
Yes.
And whether they're working in the wardrobe department or they're your key grip, like you just don't, the passion, the desire for the job. I mean, it's not an easy job. It's not like they're signing up to be, an MD and make tons of money. We're all there for those reasons. And it's really nice when you give people the opportunity to shine. Isn't that the point?
Yes.
Right? Like we're all better because of it.
Yes.
When people get to pour in from that place.
Truly. And I think something too that I learned being a first-time director is that I don't have to have all the answers. And a big way to tell a first-time director is if they go on set and they pretend like they know everything. The beautiful thing about it is asking the questions and relying on others. And it's so fun. And I want to be on set more, It's like once you get it, you're like, okay, and we're wrapped, goodbye. And then post-production is a whole other thing. But I would love to know what is sizzling up for you next. Is there anything you're getting excited about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give a preview?
I will. Yeah. So Michael Tennant and I, we worked on another script together.
Great.
And we're hoping to be shooting by the end of the year. So it's a great project. It's called Chaperones.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that already sounds, it's a comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Really great comedy. And we're going to be co-directing this time.
Awesome.
So created the story and then working together. And then I am so excited. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but one of the reasons that I took the role in Pretty Problems that I did, because I'm usually pretty crazy as an actor.
You're
I get to be fun.
Pretty crazy. Pretty Problems. Sorry. Wait, what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm usually a character actor.
Yes.
I do a lot of really fun, really wild stuff. I love the wild women that I get to play. And in Pretty Problems, I was the lead couple, right? And it can be really challenging because it feels like they're not as interesting because they're holding the tension of the movie. They're always the characters who are like, wait, what? Who? Where? What? And you're like, oh my gosh.
I know, but you're needed.
You're needed. It's so needed. It's such an important job. And we knew the story so well, and we felt like we're the backbone. We're mom and dad.
Yes.
So like we got to hold this. So let's hold it and let everyone else go ape shit and have a great time.
Yeah.
And they did, and they were brilliant.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. But I get to be one of the crazy ones in this. So I'm particularly excited to be just a wild, goofy kind of like Lindsay McClendon Covey kind of character.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Oh, I'm stoked. Okay, so this is a feature comedy, hopefully filming end of the year, so we will all stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And the name itself is already lending me to a lot of fun.
I mean, I can tell you how it started. I won't give the whole pitch so you guys can stay excited. But we were actually at the Maui Film Festival for Pretty Problems. And we, through like a series of errors, ended up not being put up at the hotel where we were supposed to be put up. So we booked our own hotel and we stayed at this place called the Maui Seaside Inn. And while we were there was this huge like youth group volleyball camp that was there.
Very niche.
Yeah, very niche. But we were like sitting out by the pool and kind of getting ready to go to our screening. And we saw that all the kids were doing like trust falls and like circling up and like, looking at each other and giggling and like, you're like, oh, she likes him, da 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 da, all this stuff. Yeah. And then out of the corner of our eye, we saw this trunk go up and the adults grabbed like a bunch of like handles of Jameson and like a bunch of like Bud Light, and they ran it to one of the rooms and slammed the door. And we were like, okay, it's called Chaperones. This is it. This is it. This is the like parallel story of like, we all have coming of age stuff, but it's like you get your first kiss, you get your first sex, like all that stuff. But then as adults, it's like, you have your first divorce, you lose your first family member, like potentially, these firsts keep coming, but we don't really mark them in the same way.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do a parallel story of the adults and the kids because it's all happening at the same time, right? Like we're all like, when are we ever really growing up? I guess.
No. And that
That's a
is
great question.
totally the title of our episode, because we have talked about this youthful energy and like the sandbox idea and coming from a childlike place.
Yeah.
That's totally a thread that I love to pull on. Okay. I'm so excited for that one. Well, Britt, our time is up.
It happened so fast.
I know. But
Thank you.
I am so glad that you got to come on the show. We'll absolutely have to do this again. And we actually get to chat a little bit more on my panel in a little bit, which will also be available on the Brooklyn Quarter channel, The Power of Women in Entertainment. And it is called The Power of Women in Entertainment on purpose, because we're very powerful. It just is what it is. And enjoy your first con.
Thank you so much. This is my first stop.
Yay. Thank you so much for being here, dear. I'm so glad. And thank you all for watching. And please check out some of our other episodes on Convos here on YouTube. Bye.